Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Man, I was really about to say, I was about to say Days of Our Lives fans, and I think I was about to actually say Bold and Beautiful fans. But, yes, GH fans. So, my goodness, I almost don't even know who to start off with. You know what? Let's start off with Alexis and Molly. Pretty much this whole thing, even though it was about Alexis' diagnosis, which turned out to be osteoporosis, um, it felt like a PSA. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing or whatever. I mean, I know there are a lot of women and stuff like that watch this show that are over the age of whatever. And so I understand that it is an important thing for people to know, and that it does happen to a lot of people that's younger than what people consider to be that age of getting it. So I get that. I understand the importance of it, but yeah, that whole thing came across as a PSA. At first when Molly was there, because Molly was in the room with Alexis and Portia was sitting there talking about bone density, and she was giving a score or whatever, and Molly was like, "Is it bone cancer?" What the Listen, you can already tell that Alexis is afraid. She's freaking out. She doesn't know what it could be. You're in a hospital. You're waiting for test results. You have no idea what they're gonna sit there and say. Why would you just throw out that? Like, this is one of those things where it's like, Molly, maybe it was better that she would have found out the information and then told you, because I feel like in an instance like that, she just made it a lot more worser than what it was. After Portia was like, "No, it's not that," and Molly was like, "Oh, thank God." I'm like, Molly, you're kind of freaking out your mom. I don't know. I'm not exactly a fan of Molly. She just comes across as that very SJW type. Social justice warrior. I'm not going to get into that, but that's exactly what Molly comes across as. Anyway, turns out that she does have osteoporosis, but, with lifestyle changes, medication, she'll be fine. So, yeah, that pretty much was their whole story. Alright, let's get this other thing out the way. Not really so much get it out the way, but let's just kind of talk about it while I'm drinking my waters. This way I don't actually have to start tearing up a little bit. What am I doing? Let's talk about Sunny and Avery. So Ava brings Avery back to the house, and you pretty much tell Sunny, "Listen, you can tell her about Mike and what happened. I figure it'd be better if you do it." And so Sunny, talks to Avery, and it's a pretty sad scene. It's pretty touching also. I don't like to sit... it's kind of sad and kind of touching. Pretty much, Sunny just flats out says, and I'm a little surprised those are the exact words he used, but he was just like, "Mike died." And, I'm not gonna lie, when I heard that, I was like... granted, I was kind of in that moment of when it happened, so it didn't hit me right away. And it was just kind of heartbreaking to sit there and imagine telling your child that is, 4 or 5, that someone passed away. I can't even imagine that type of conversation. I couldn't imagine the birds and bees conversation. I feel like I would much rather actually have that conversation. But, yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking to watch that. Although I'm sitting there thinking, die? You told her that he died. Like, you couldn't sit there and say he went to heaven, or he passed, or he moved on to another plane. Any one of those other acronyms, I am just kind of befuddled a little bit just by how straightforward he was with her. But whatever, everyone has a different parenting method, I guess. So, yeah. So anyway, he talked to her about it, and then they like ate sandwiches and stuff. Meanwhile, you got Nina there, which I'm not gonna lie was actually kind of a waste. Nina and Jax was talking. It's not that I didn't care. It's just their conversation didn't really go anywhere. You know, Nina isn't there thanking Jax for, or Jax isn't there thanking Nina for, you know, supporting him and understanding that they had to kind of like cancel the trip to be with his daughter, and she was like, no, of course not. And honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie, it really didn't add up to anything. Really didn't, except for the fact that, you know, if you're watching this first time or whatever, or you're just catching back up, Nina's on the trail trying to find out, you know, who her daughter is. Other than that, it didn't really go anywhere. But when Josh came over to Sonny's house after he talked to Jocelyn about Mike and stuff, pretty much talked to Carly and pretty much asked, like, did you tell Sonny? And Carly was like, no, I didn't. And then Jax was like, you know, I kind of actually thought that was a good idea. You know, the less people that know, the better. Which is actually true. But at this point, I feel like the longer Carly doesn't tell Sonny, the more of a fight is going to be when the truth comes out. And Sonny, you know, found out that Carly knew the whole time. You know, the whole Mike thing passing, his, you know, being with him and not telling him, I understood that. I didn't agree to some extent, but I understood it. But now that he's passed away, yeah, you not telling Sonny about now, that's on you, Carly. That is all on you. What else? So, in the beginning, you had Lulu talk to Cyrus. Cyrus is pretty much just like, oh, where's your mom at? You know, I got some important business to talk to your mom about. In 1 second. Wow, why is that? I got some boys and business to talk about your mom. And after a while, Lulu was like, yo, why are you so interested in her? You know, like, why, just, why? Instead of talking a little bit, and at first, Cyrus seemed like, well, you know, I don't deal with, like, secondhand people or whatever. And then Sam got involved, and then they started talking for a little bit. And after a while, Cyrus was like, alright, you know what? But before he left, he was like, hey, listen, I just want to let you know that I'm very happy that, you know, Jason is recovering. Wink, wink. Like, dude, you couldn't have laid it on more thick. And as he walked away, man, you can tell Sam wanted to claw this man's eyes out. Like, literally. Just dig them right out. And so that happened. And what else happened? There was one scene where you had the four of them. You had Peter, Sam, Lulu, and Peter, Sam, Lulu, and Maxie. I feel like I'm missing somebody, but I don't think I am. Anyway, they're all talking, and then Sam walks away for a little bit, says she has to take care of something with her mother, and then Peter talks to Maxie, and Maxie's like, yeah, I don't think it had anything to do with her mother. So they break away for a little bit. I don't remember the exact scene. I'm pretty sure I'm messing up a little bit, but pretty much Maxie talked to Sam, was like, yo, listen, we haven't talked. You haven't even congratulated me. Like, what is up? I mean, like, is it my choice? Like, with the whole Peter thing. And here's the thing that I feel like Maxie and Anna needs to understand. Not everyone's gonna like Peter, and that's just something that they're gonna have to deal with. Um, and it's just something. I mean, I get that she's like defending Peter and stuff like that, and Sam is doing her best. Like, listen, we're best friends. Pretty much, that's her only friend besides Carly. Um, but she's just like, hey, listen, I get it. You say he's changed. I hope he did. And they kind of just leave it at that. Yeah, they kind of just leave it at that. And again, I'm just like, Maxie and Anna, you need to understand that not everyone is going to like Peter. Speaking of Peter, Lulu wants to run a story on Cyrus and kind of like talk to other like news reporters, like the big people, like not you know like their magazine, I mean their newspaper, because they're very local. They she wants to branch out and talk to some other news reporters just to like kind of bring a bigger story on Cyrus, to protect the town and all this other stuff like that. And well, Peter agrees. Peter's like, all right, you got my blessing, go do you. Because here's the thing, I felt like it was one of those things where it's like, even if Peter said no, she still was going to sit there and try to do something along those lines anyway. So let's talk about Jordan. Let's talk about Jordan, Curtis, and Stella. So in the beginning, when Jordan is sitting up there talking to Curtis, Curtis is like, yo, listen, you need to sit there and talk to your son. Because he's running his mouth at Cyrus, and listen, I admire his bravery and everything, but that boy's gonna get hurt. So you need to do something. You need to talk to him ASAP. Just whatever you gotta do. So they talk about that a little bit, and then Stella comes in, and at first, Curtis acts kind of strange. He's all like, well, you should have gave us some warning, a heads up or something like that, before you was coming in, just give us like, a couple of days or whatever. And Stella's looking at him like, when have I actually done that? And why am I starting now? Pretty much. Then Stella started talking about TJ and what happened to him, because she's like, yo, I haven't been talking to TJ in a while. Since he got, beat up. What are you doing about that? Because I kind of feel like you're not doing enough. And that's when Curtis just out of nowhere, like, snaps at her. Like, he literally just went off on her for like a good 30 seconds and just walked out the room. How even Jordan was just like, listen, I get that Stella was kind of being a nag, but that was, like, out of character for you. And of course he came back like 5 seconds later and was like, hey, listen, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. And Stella was like, whatever, because she also said she was coming back to town to, visit Mike and stuff, and, be there for the family. But yeah, he came back in like 5 minutes later like, hey, listen, I'm sorry, like, nothing happened. I'm just like, where did that come from? I mean, I know that he usually has gotten, a short temper on her. And by the way, the descriptions has been wrong for a while. Apparently that whole blow up was supposed to happen like, I don't know, 3 or 4 days ago. But, yeah, I'm still kind of, like, I don't know, I'm befuddled by it. I think that's the best word for that. Like, he literally went off and like, well, if you're not going to be supportive, then you don't need to come back here anymore. And he just walked out. And I'm like, what the hell was that about? And yeah. So, usually I pause it, but I'm just... Oh, one other thing that happened. Dev gets some advice, because he's talking to Jocelyn, and talking about homecoming and stuff like that. And then Jax come in. So Dev was like, listen, I'll give you out to eat some space. I'm gonna go and head out. And then he goes to the shop. Oh, I think actually two more things. So then he goes to the shop. And he goes to the shop, he goes to Brando's shop, and he asks Brando pretty much just advice about how to get back with Jocelyn. And pretty much, let's just put it this way. Brando gives the advice that any person would have gave. Be yourself. Wow. He came all the way over there for you to, but you know what? Whatever. He's a teenager. I guess that's the advice that you give teenagers. Just be yourself and I guess hope for the best. Literally. That's literally what it was. And I'm not gonna lie, this whole like Dev getting together with Jocelyn is just weird. It's just weird because they live in the same house, and Jax already had a problem with the fact that a boy was living under the same roof as his daughter. So, and minus that, just the simple fact that they're supposed to be related or whatever, like for appearances reasons, for appearances, it just, I just see this going so wrong, and it's just so weird. But I guess that's just what they're gonna do because they need to have a love triangle for some odd reason. Not gonna lie, it's kind of feeling a little kind of Disney to me. And I think the last thing I'm gonna sit there and quickly touch upon is Jason and Brando. So Brando was still kind of tight about the whole surveillance thing, and people were like, well, why can't you just ask me? And Jason was like, listen, we need to make sure that you're on the up and up. I mean, just for the personal record, I didn't think you were guilty as far as the whole bike thing, but I mean, let's be honest, we really don't know you. We don't know you, so we had to make sure you're on the up and up. And that's when Brando was like, I get it, I'm not happy about it, but you kind of saved my life with the surveillance thing, and the whole trust but verified thing still does apply. And then Jason was like, listen, for a while, Sonny didn't want you in his business. Cyrus is being Cyrus, and well, at this point, you're gonna get dragged in. But I have a plan, and I'm gonna need your help. I don't know what this plan is because they didn't talk about it, but whatever it is, Brando shook on it, so I guess it's a good plan. And that's actually it. Yeah, that's actually it. So, listen, thank you so much for watching. I know this came out super late, but Mondays is usually my late day. But, here's the thing. I figured because I was like, you know what, listen, I'm going to be watching both of these anyway, Days and for some odd reason, I keep sitting there thinking Bold and the Beautiful. I think because I kind of want to start watching it again. I just really don't have the time to do it. But, anyway, Cyrus came out so late. Monday's usually my late days, but tomorrow it should come out at somewhat of a reasonable time. And not like 9, 10 o'clock at night. But anyway, if you're watching this, thank you so much. Like I said in my other review, I normally don't say this, but just to kind of keep the numbers from dipping too low or whatever, or just getting new people on this channel. That's what it really comes down to, because before I started doing my reviews, I was watching Brock TV's reviews, and it just came up. I think I was looking for GH to try to watch because it didn't come on at some point, and I saw his review, and I started watching it, and then I guess that's when it kind of gave me the idea of starting to do these reviews. So I feel, people share my videos every now and then, and I'm not going to be one of those obnoxious YouTubers that's like, every video, yo, like and share my video, no, that's just annoying. That is just annoying. But every once in a while, I may sit there and throw that in there just to kind of share it, to kind of get some other people on to watch my reviews if, they wonder what's going on. Yeah. Plus numbers would help. I'm just going to be honest. So, that's going to do it for this episode, this review. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe. I will catch you in the next review. And I'm drinking a lot of water because need that blood pressure to go down for the Navy, because that's the thing. And, you know, obviously lifestyle changes and being all healthy and rah rah rah. Which is also good, but I kind of like eating what I want to eat, but I don't know. That's a conversation for another day. But in case anyone's wondering why I'm not drinking soda like I usually do, that's why. So anyway, be safe. I'll catch you in the next review, and thanks for watching. This review was a lot longer than normal.